Morning all, how we doing? Happy Halloween. There you go, there's my Halloween. Right, now that's over. How we doing? Morning outro. Hasn't the market already opened? Nope. Are you having a time lapse thing? We've changed times. Now it's going to open. Oh, we have this every year. Morning, Peter. Morning, Christian, Ian, Matt, Kennelly, Tom, Amy, Martin, Leshy, Gregor, Virginia, AZ, Greatfield, Yotko. Morning, all. So, Japanese decided last night, actually, you know, everything we said yesterday that made you go, yeah, let's buy the yen, we're not going to do any of that anymore. Yeah, they completely turned tail. 100% U-turn on what they said yesterday. So yesterday they said they were going to modify the yield curve to make it all better for the yen. And then during the monetary policy statement last night, they decided to say the complete opposite. Complete opposite. They basically scrapped everything they said the day before. So the yen, obviously yesterday, we had that huge 150, 125 ADR, depending what you were looking at, yen buy. And now we've had 175 ADR in the opposite direction. Couldn't make it up. They've been trying for weeks to get this down. We suddenly pay attention to them. They go, oh, so that's what the market wants. So they go, nah, let's do the opposite. Nuts. Utter nuts. So I've no idea where the end's going. I'm getting out of it this morning. I've had enough. I've been in it for a month waiting for the intervention move. They're not making it, so I'm getting out. So I'm actually getting out half of it. I'm going to get out of this one. I'm going to get out of this one there. So if we push up above 200 ADR today, I'm closing half the position. I'll leave half of it on with the assumption that when we get to 152, they will pull the trigger on the intervention as they did in October. But I've no idea what they're doing. They're just like a school child at the moment. They're not listening and they're not doing anything that they're meant to be doing. So screw them, basically. So I should take a half loss on it if it gets there, but we'll see. It might not get there, but if it's above 200 ADR, basically, if we pull back up into here, that's why they pulled the trigger last week. They may well pull the trigger again, but this will be the third shot. Nothing's happening. So I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. So yeah, ADRs today. It's not worth looking at any ADRs because they are all yen, and I haven't got a clue where they're going. So I certainly wouldn't want to be buying it. Yes, I would want to be selling it. So every single one of these, I would say, yeah, jump in. But I've been saying that for weeks, and it's not happening. So who knows? Give up. Give up on the yen. It will or it won't. Morning, Hood Guy. Morning, Rajiv. Had a great holiday back to the markets. Good for you. Morning, outro again. Morning, Evans. I'm right in thinking US opens at 1:30 though. Yes, that's right. 1:30 now, not 2:30 for us in the UK. But the DAX doesn't change for us in the UK because obviously Europe put their clocks back and forward the same as we do at the same time. So next week, Monday next week, we go back to normal because the US changed their clocks this weekend. So everything switches back to normal next weekend. So we go back to 2:30 in the afternoon. We have 1 week, twice a year, where everybody goes, I don't know what I'm doing. And then it all goes back to normal. And every EA in the world blows up because the clocks change. We need to just stop changing the clocks. It's pointless. The clocks changed because it was to help the people that lit the gas lanterns in the Victorian age. Yeah. We don't like gas lanterns anymore. Why are we still doing it? Nuts. Morning, Franco. Morning, it's time. Morning, Ismet. Right. So with that said, so that's ADRs covered. It's all yen. They're all mad. Not doing it anymore. We've got no RSIs to look at. It's Euro Swiss. Basically, it's still extended on the 4 hour. So there you go. There's your analysis done. There's nothing else to look at. I'm still in drawdown on a load of stuff, exactly the same as it was before. I've still got a load of stuff I can bank. I haven't yet. So I'm sitting here waiting for something to happen. Oil, I got into another one yesterday. Got 4 minutes to the open, so I'll just quickly cover oil. So I got out of that one yesterday with a tiny loss, 0.25%. Just because I wanted this level to hold yesterday and it didn't. So we broke that level. So we now have a propulsion move down into the lows here, and it bounced out of there yesterday. So if you remember yesterday in the live room, I put a buy order there at that low, and I put a buy order there at that low. If it breaks through this level, something's wrong. Something's gone wrong with oil, and we're basically going bearish. So that one triggered yesterday on a spike. So far today, we haven't gone anywhere. It's looking bearish at towards the London Open, but I'll be looking for that to hold. If it doesn't hold, I will add a second there to bring the average down on oil, and then hope that's where we get the bounce from and we form a new range. So this is exactly what oil did before. If you go back and look at the 4-hour charts, we started forming ranges. Yeah. We quite often do this. We form a range for a while we're not sure quite what's going on. So I'm hoping that we're forming a range here. So we've broken out the high. Yeah, we're now unsure what to do, and then we'll move up into that higher level, which is what everybody is expecting. All the institutions are calling somewhere now between $100 and $160 a barrel. There's a massive not miscommunication, but a massive difference of opinion with the institutions as to how high we're going. It's not a case of are we going up or down, it's how high are we going. That's what the consensus is, which is why I'm concerned about this level, because this move here, that's a 50% retracement. I wouldn't expect any deeper, but that would be where I think we would go down to if we went deeper. But anyway, so we'll see. So I've got one more on that yesterday, and I will hold it for a little bit longer. If it gets to somewhere around about the 5% mark, I'm going to start closing it out. It's wrong. And it will go on my naughty list with gold. I don't trade oil as a position trader because it's erratic and it does stupid things. Funny that. So yeah, anyway. Good day on the DAX yesterday. Fat fingered the Dow. Managed to put my lot size in far too big. Oh well. Made money, which is not a problem. But yeah, 40% month. Stock index hedge EA, not bad. So DAX today, we are still working on the gap fill down at the moment. We've got no gap today. We've opened up exactly where we closed yesterday. So basically business as usual. Yesterday's high, initial resistance. Previous day's high from Friday is second resistance to the upside. Downside, we're looking at yesterday's low and the gap fill. So very easy today for support resistance levels. All the way down there. So we'll see where we go. Markets open. Sorry, I just need to quickly get my terminal over here open because I'm manually trading on one of my accounts. That's frozen. Great. Still haven't had a chance to change this account over. So pre-market range today is there, which is the 15-minute pre-market. Very similar to the 30-minute pre-market. I'm hoping we're going to go short today because I think they want to fill that gap before FOMC. We've also got gaps down on the US indices as well. Morning, John. Morning, Franco. If I haven't said Franco already, I think I have. Franco always gives me beer in the morning, which is a bit weird. Because he's on a different time zone. But anyway. And up very late drinking beer, Franco. Morning, Jazz. Okay, so no breaks so far on the DAX. FTSE is looking very much the same as the DAX this morning. Going short on the DAX. So target one is within yesterday's low, which is nice and easy to attack. Target 2 will be down by the low, the gap fill, basically. So both of those on the cards today. That would be a good runner to leave on today if we break short, but doesn't seem to be a massive amount of volume. Haven't done the news yet, have I? Better do the news. 3 minutes. I'll do the news while we're waiting for this 5-minute opening range to go in. Just need to quickly stick some pending orders over here. I start. Go. So overnight news, we've had all this stuff from the Bank of Japan. I'm not going to go through it all, but in a nutshell, they were talking about potential interest rate changes. I didn't think they were going to do it today, but they keep talking about it. They basically just did a complete U-turn on everything they said yesterday, which was making the yield curve better for bond investments, i.e. trying to drag money into the yen, basically, which is what everybody else in the world does, but they decided to do the opposite because they want all their money outside of the yen, outside of Japan. They decided, oh, actually what we might do is try and get you all to invest in us. Then they came out this morning and said, nah, joking. So that's just flipped. Apart from that, overnight news, there wasn't an awful lot. We've had some earnings overnight. We are obviously in earnings fortnight at the moment. So we had Pinterest last night and Arista. We've got Amgen, Caterpillar, and Pfizer pre-market with AMD aftermarket today. But tomorrow is where it all kind of really kicks off. So we've had a few earnings overnight, but nothing particularly dramatic. Other than that, not a lot else overnight news. Obviously, the situation in the Middle East is escalating. Which in theory should be good for oil prices, should be bad for the stock market. DAX has just dropped out the lows. But other than that, there's not really a lot else going on at the moment in that respect for news. This morning, we've got the CPI for the euro, which we would expect to be a drop, basically. We've already had all the CPI figures for Germany, Spain, and France. This is an amalgamation of those. So we know kind of what that should be. That should be a negative. Market won't really be shocked by that because we know what the figures really are, unless it is positive for any other reason, which means that all the other smaller countries in Europe have actually done better than everybody else. It's a big country, which is unlikely. So we should see negative figures there, but the market's had its chance to react to it off of other CPIs that we've had, which have obviously been negative. So that should not really impact euro, but if anything, it will probably bring it down slightly. GDP for the CAD at 12:30 with the unemployment cost index, which is just a pointless piece of news. I don't know why they even look at it, but it doesn't really do anything. We got PMIs this afternoon, Chicago PMI. We got consumer confidence at 2, and the big one is the unemployment rate for the New Zealand dollar this evening. So there's lots of news coming out today, but it's not massively high impact until we get to the New Zealand dollar, but that's obviously this evening. And then tomorrow, obviously, we go into the FOMC day. So I'm anticipating a fair amount of movement today because we tend to get a lot of jostling before an FOMC announcement where the market is repositioning themselves ahead of what they think FOMC is going to do. So quite often we get quite a lot of movement. The problem we've got today is obviously the Bank of Japan have chucked a right spanner in the works and really upset the US dollar this morning. So not quite sure what the movement's going to be today. We'll have to wait and see. 200 ADR on US dollar yen. I'm going to get stopped out on that. So I'm stopping out on that. I'm going to take roughly 1.5% loss. I'm not willing to hold this anymore. This is just ridiculous for the yen. I don't know what they're playing at, but there's no point in holding this anymore. I'm going to hold 2 positions on it, half, because I'm going to scale in. There you go, stopped out 1. I am going to scale into more up here because they will make this come down. It's almost like, I don't know, they want to do the intervention. It's almost like they're doing everything they can possibly do to upset the market, to drive the yen down so that they can drive it back up again. But why not let the market just take it? I don't understand. There's obviously some reason, but they had it going yesterday. It was like, yeah, that's what we want to hear. Good one. And then they went, nah, 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 nah. It's not school children in a playground. This is world economics. Don't piss about with it. But anyway, they have. So scaling out of that, and I will get in more. But I'm going to wait for them to push up further. So I'm happy to hold the two that I'm going to keep on. Wait for it to come down. It's not going much higher than 152. So just can't get through this 150 level. They just won't let it go, will they? So, what book should you recommend for interpreting economic fundamentals? I don't know. I've never read a book on it. Interweb. Use the interweb. Morning, James. It's economics. It's complicated. There's not really a book. I don't know. Google, I reckon. I don't know. If you want a good course on it, Anton Kreil's course is probably the best on the market, but it's very expensive. But you will learn everything you need to know about economics. Well, you won't learn everything you need to learn about economics, but in regards to how it affects the Forex markets. But his course is not cheap. Okay, DAX is out the lows. Getting a little bit of rejection. I'm just moving my hedge down because I'm trading manually on one account, so I can. The other one's triggered. Yep, we're in. That's good. I was reading an article last week on holiday. There is something going on with 31st of October being the last date to accept US dollar to buy oil. Also, the Saudi agreement with the US for crude is about to end. Possibly. That won't be to do with the US dollar yen. That'll be to do with oil price. But yeah. That could be something to do with that drop. That could be an evacuation. I haven't seen anything. You would expect to see something like that on Financial Juice, but maybe it's not impactful enough. To make a difference. I'm just going to see. Ueda's just been talking. I just realised. You can't make it up, can you? You can't make it up, right? The Japanese yesterday make a massive statement to say that they are going to encourage us to buy the yen. Then they change their mind. For some reason, don't expect everybody to reverse the decision they made yesterday. And then they come out this morning saying, we're closely watching the FX movements because you're not doing what we want to. If you don't do what we want to, we'll intervene. You bloody caused it. Oh, not being funny, but did IQs suddenly drop in Japan? I am speechless. Some countries and central governments are just too stupid to run them. Anywho, CFA level 1, that teaches you about all of that. Yep. So you could go the official route and become a chartered financial advisor. And then obviously that will teach you about economics, because to be able to advise people on pensions and things, you need to know about how they move. That's probably a bit too official way. If you just want to be a part-time FX trader, probably don't need to know that much detail, but I don't know. Have to steal that. What, Anton Kreil's course? Yeah, you could try. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. All courses are out there somewhere, if you can find them, if you have the roots. But Anton's course, I can never spell his name. Oh, there it is. IT. Quick, click that one. didn't work, did it? It's $1,200, and then the second course is $3,500 or $2,000 if you just want to do the course and don't do the other. And then there's course 3, which is $1,500. And then there's course 4, and then there's a load of extra stuff. Yeah, so you're looking at $5,000 plus. But it's I've kind of summed this up before because I've done this course. This goes into detail that you do not need to know about. This goes into the real fundamental workings. He worked for a bank, Anton, so he knows all about bank scorecarding systems and everything in detail. The stuff that they go into as a retail Forex trader, you just don't need to go into that level of detail. You need to get a basic understanding, and I think you can probably get that from the web. If you go and ask ChatGPT, how does interest rates affect currency movements? As a basic overview, that's all you need to know. Yeah. How it affects it, what it does, all that sort of stuff. There you go. I've done something like this before. Look. CPI impact on Forex. How does CPI affect the Forex markets? If you ask ChatGPT, it'll give you all the basics. DAX is just pushing back up again. What was I trying to do? Financial juice. Institute of Trading and Portfolio Management. I know he created his own institute. Is that posh, Anton? Japanese yen. Is that market manipulation? No, it's just market stupidity. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Why they've done that. It's just nuts. It's just stupid, in my opinion. But then that's just my opinion. I'm not the Bank of Japan. But if I was the Bank of Japan and I saw everybody doing what I wanted them to do, which is basically buy the yen, I wouldn't come out and say, don't buy the yen. But then again, what do I know? Who knows what they're doing behind the scenes, what they're up to? It may be that they're looking at this and going, they're not moving the market fast enough. Yesterday, we know that we can get them to do that. So if we say the opposite thing and push it up there, we've got an excuse to do an intervention, which means we get an 800% ADR move instead of a 175% ADR move. We'll do that then. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I do know that they are manipulating price through words, which is what tends to happen. But why? I don't know. They keep moaning about the FX movement being too aggressive against the yen, especially with the US dollar yen. And then they keep saying, if you don't stop it, we'll do something about it. They keep doing something about it. They get the desired effect. And then suddenly they decide to do the opposite. Just ludicrous. It's, just, I'm more annoyed that they're costing me money. But what can you do? DAX is back inside the inside range, back inside the opening range. About to get hedged on it, I think, but I'm not quite sure where we're going today. We will see. That's a big U-turn. Why is everybody doing U-turns today? What's going on? Everybody's decided to do the opposite of what they said they were going to do. They said they were going short, now they're going long. Morning Day Trader FX. Morning XR Update.news. I started without you, yes, unfortunately. Maybe yen wants a faster move, allowing us to rally. Yeah. Could be that. Could be anything. Don't know. Is it better to trade with a limited company or a sole trader in the UK? Ask your accountant. It depends on your financial circumstances. Everybody's got different incomes from different places and doing different things. So the amount of tax you pay is dependent on what you earn. I don't know what you earn. Ask your accountant. If you haven't got an accountant, get one. I pay my accountant 1,200 quid a year. He saves me tens of thousands. Best money you'll ever spend getting an accountant. Japan set up collecting contracts to kill accounts in the short run. Yeah, maybe. Who knows what they're up to? Right, well, the DAX is stuck. FTSE's attempting new highs. This could be my first hedge for the last week or so. I haven't had a hedge for ages. Market's been doing what it's told, isn't it? But we will see. Right, well, let's not stare at that. Let's look at the FX. So, yeah, obviously this thing, I'm out at 1%. So I'm going to hold that drawdown. How far am I away from that entry? I kind of need to put another one on there, don't I, really? I'm going to put a sell stop just under there, under that low, because that'll give us a reverse alert on the 15-minute time frame. There. So I'm going to take a 15-minute reverse alert with another position. That's decent enough spacing for me. Probably about 3/4 of an ADR. Yeah, so ADR is 67. That's 53. So I'll take that. So I'll add another one on if we basically don't progress any further today. If we do progress further today, I will definitely get another one on up there. But I get the feeling that this move here is probably going to do something like this. I don't think it's just going to continue to rally. Don't forget, the other thing we've got to bear in mind is this is a US dollar cross. We've got FOMC this evening. If they're really, really, really bearish with FOMC, this thing's coming back down again. And we'll be back down here again this afternoon, this evening. So tomorrow evening, rather. So we've got FOMC coming up. So we've got to take that into account as well. So where we go. So that's what I've got on at the moment. I'll run through those positions because obviously there's nothing to look at here. Everything that's hit ADR is yen based. Obviously, we can see what's going on with the Japanese yen. There's no ADRs to look at. We had that Euro Swiss. Euro yen's just hit ADR. You're going to get, RSIs. You're going to get a load of RSI extensions on the yen pairs as well because obviously we've done huge moves. So if they continue to push, we're going to get RSI extensions. Watch for bounces at highs and lows. Obviously, we've got a nice high coming up there on the Euro. FTSE's just rejected the highs pre-market. DAX is doing the same. It's rejecting the pre-market highs. So God knows what this thing's doing today. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? It's going to be one of those days. Aussie dollar CAD. So I've got one on that taken on Friday. H1M5 mean reversion there. Looking for a target back down into that propulsion gap, which is sort of a 61.8 retracement on that, and it's a 50% retracement on that entire move. I'm going to sneeze. Aussie dollar Swiss, same thing. Friday, first entry. Was looking for a 50% retracement on that. We've pushed up into another leg, came back down again. So still looking for a push back down into that area. The Swiss franc at the moment, again, we're a little undecided on what's going on with the Swissy, with what's going on in the Middle East. So this could well power up and get another leg, which means everything's going to come down against the Swiss franc. But at the moment, they seem to be undoing the Swiss franc intervention moves from the previous 2 weeks. But it's not really moving that fast. So as you can see, we've done a 50% retracement on that leg. So this could well be another power up on the Swiss franc. We'll see what happens on that one, but just waiting for normal market structure and profit take moves to get out of that one. Aussie New Zealand. I've got 5 on this one, I think. No, 4 Aussie New Zealands. We had a nice attempt yesterday to get out of the last week's high, which failed. So we are pushing down from that high now. So potentially, looking for a retest of that low to form a range. We obviously had this accumulation break here. We've pushed into that propulsion gap and bought it back up again. So just looking for some kind of movement back down on this leg. Can't really see it because it's this leg here. Oh, for God's sake. I'm going to have one of those days today. You know, you just know you're going to have one of those days. You wake up, you see what's happened to the yen. And since you wake up, you see what's happened to the yen. I'm just about to get hedged on the DAX, pretty sure of that. And every time I do something, my terminal fights back at me. It's just going to be one of them. Looking for a retracement on this move. So back into this propulsion. So this accumulation break that we had there, we haven't retested that yet. So that's the move I'm looking for the Aussie to make. At the moment, it's just kind of grinding away up here. So this is a 50% retracement on that leg. So as you can see, we've held that twice. If it breaks this time, we should have that reversal in structure hold and just retest that and drop. So happy with that at the moment. It's less than 1% drawdown. Just waiting. CAD Swiss. Any pairs you want to look at, let me know. That I'm not going to cover, obviously, with what I'm doing. CAD Swiss totally stuck. So this is the moves that we've had off of the back of the war. Obviously, everyone piling into the Swiss franc. We've had oil dropping, which has dragged down the Canadian dollar. 150 ADR on CAD yen, so that yen is still pushing. Yeah, just stuck in this, waiting for that Swiss franc unraveling, basically, from the intervention move. With this one looks pretty good at the moment. Canadian dollar should rally on oil, assuming we're going to get the oil rally. That's going to help. The Swiss franc at the moment, we've had a massive strength move. So as the Swiss franc weakens, this will push up. So we've got potential oil rally because it's done a pullback. Next thing should be a rally. And we've got the Swiss, which has done a rally. We should have a pullback. This should go double bubble, come back up into this area here. So I'm looking for price action when we get up there to see whether or not we find resistance. I get the feeling we might be able to push a lot further than that level. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm a bit worried about the distance between the entries on this because of the speed of movement on this Swiss franc move. But yeah, nothing I can do about it. So in that one, waiting. Euro New Zealand, stuck in this. We're in a 5-6 day accumulation now. 7, 8, depends how many days where you want to start it from, but we are just in accumulation. So looking for a pullback on this move. We haven't had any profit taking. Aussie yen ADR. Again, yen still going nuts. So yeah, no movement on this one at all for over a week now. So sitting, waiting for the pullback into propulsion. 50% retracement on the move. We're not getting it. So we've had a 23 there, which is kind of a flag break. Yeah, so 23, that's kind of a flag, which you would expect to break. It hasn't. It's just gone into an accumulation. So the danger with this one is we're just going to go accumulate new leg. However, there's an awful lot of longs in here which aren't out yet. I can't believe that that is all that they're going to want to do on it. So I'm still expecting a drop on this one, but we need some catalysts. And luckily enough for the New Zealand dollar, we've got the unemployment rate this evening. That is forecast to go up. And that is going to be negative for the New Zealand dollar. So obviously, if that happens, the Euro New Zealand dollar is going to go up. So what we're looking for is unemployment not to be as bad as they are forecasting, which will rally the New Zealand dollar. If we can rally the New Zealand dollar, obviously, the Euro New Zealand is going to come down. But wait and see what happens on that one. I'm going to start to do some drawdown control on this. If it does rally out of these highs, I'm going to have to start scaling out some of this position. Because if it does get bad news, obviously it's just going to rally. And when you look at where we're going to rally to, unfortunately, where we're reacting at the moment, you've got a couple of levels. It's not actually that bad if you look at it. It's about an ADR or so, 150 ADR, but then we're going up to that monthly high. So there's a few levels coming up, but if they're not going to pull back on this, we're just going to grind, I think, up into that previous month's high, and then we'll find some limit orders there. But we'll see. There's lots of news coming out before then, which can drive this one. So New Zealand dollar Swiss, that's just coming back to break even, basically. So I've taken some off of this already. So as you can see, this is the same move as a lot of these other Swissies, looking for that pullback, basically, on the move into the Swiss franc. DAX is kind of just stuck at the minute, not going anywhere. We're just hovering inside the opening range. So I've taken some off of this, banked a nice bit of profit on it. So getting out at break even, basically, on the rest of that position is kind of all I'm looking for, because I've made the money there. That was I can't remember what it was, but so the reason I'm getting out on this one, New Zealand dollar, you can see my exposure on the New Zealand dollar is 4 long. I want to get a little bit flatter on the New Zealand dollar ahead of tomorrow. Or ahead of tonight, really, which is when the New Zealand dollar unemployment is coming out. Because if it goes against me, obviously it's going to go against me on 4. I'd rather it go against me on 3. So just going to get out of this one, take the profit that I've already made on it. So it's paid me. So I can just reduce exposure. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, that one TP is there as well. So again, we've got that double top, which is kind of all I'm looking for. We didn't get the pullback. We've got all these big propulsion gaps that we just are not testing. The danger tomorrow is we get a rally on the US, in which case that's going down. The danger tomorrow is the New Zealand dollar unemployment goes up. That's going down. Yeah, so there's good chance that this could go down. So I'd like to be out of this today as well. Ideally, US dollar yen we know about, and oil we know about. So that's my exposure at the moment. It's just stuck in so much stuff at the moment. It's just sideways. Just not going anywhere. A little bit like the DAX. Looks like a long today. Who knows? Japan set up collecting contracts secured in the short run yet. If everyone is selling the yen, it can't go down. If everyone is selling the yen, it can't go down. What do you mean? Yeah, if everyone sells the yen, it goes up. Obviously, yeah. Well, everything goes up against the yen, yes. But the yen, at any point, the Japanese can liquidate all their overseas investments, and this will be down there. That's what an intervention move is. It's basically a liquidation of overseas assets. So the Japanese hold all of their wealth overseas. They don't hold it in their own country. So these types of moves that you see here are basically the Japanese liquidating overseas assets to basically turn everything into a yen. Yeah, so they hold US dollar, pound, euro, bonds, stocks, etc. Every penny of the Japanese wealth is in everybody else's currency. So at any point, they can liquidate everything and turn it into yen. Obviously, what does that do to the yen? Massively spikes it. That's what an intervention move is. This is what these little moves are that we keep seeing. They just block buys of yen by liquidating other things. But obviously, everybody at the moment is selling yen, not buying the yen. So they're buying the US dollar, they're buying the euro, they're buying the pound, they're buying the Swiss, but they're just not buying the yen. So everything is going against the yen. This is making their economy bad and difficult to transact. So they have to do something about it. It's exactly the same as the best way to get your head around it is to think of your own finances. You own a house, you own a car, you've got no money in savings, if you're anything like me. Everything's in assets. Yeah, I've got a nice VR headset sitting there, which cost me 1,500 quid. I've got loads of stuff, right? If all of a sudden I can't, for some reason, make money in any way, I have to liquidate my assets. I have to sell my car. I have to sell my VR headset. I have to sell a load of stuff. What do? I turn all of that stuff into pound sterling so that I can spend it. That's what the Japanese do. They own a lot of crap everywhere, but they don't have any capital in their bank. So they get capital by selling all their crap. Yeah. So same as you and me, need to sell the car, need to sell my clothes, need to get on eBay and sell all my clothes, that sort of stuff. And that's what starts to happen. But that's what that is. Yeah. But then you get all the money in and all of a sudden somebody takes the mortgage. So you're like, oh, hey, I've got loads of money. Then the mortgage man takes half of that money and you go, oh, I haven't got any money anymore. Then you get you sell a load more stuff and then the car payment comes in. They're running finances. Economics is exactly the same as you and I running your house. Yeah, we have income, we have expenditure. That's economics. Same thing with countries. It's just a hell of a lot bigger and more complicated. Night all, night Franco. SIH, stock index hedge, Aussie 200 TP 1R long. Had to get out, so manually closed it. Good man. You're trading the Aussie 200 with it, are you? Yeah, it'll work. Should work on everything. Stock index hedge strategy. As long as it moves at the open, it'll work. So I've never traded the Aussie. I don't even think I've got the Aussie. I haven't got the Aussie. I haven't got the Aussie anywhere. Don't think I've got it here either. No. I haven't got anything. I haven't got the Aussie. Can't trade the Aussie. It all moves though. Everything moves. Is this deja vu? What, from October? You talking about the yen? Don't know. I'm in the matrix at the moment. The FTSE's just made a new lower low. Well, not lower low, but FTSE's just come down. As you can see, the DAX is reacting with it as well. We're really stuck today, not going anywhere. I swear that you looked at the Aussie 200 yesterday. No, I think maybe Jazz mentioned it yesterday, and I said again yesterday, I haven't got it, and I had a look for it. So it's probably what happened yesterday, but the conclusion is the same. I still haven't got it. I think that's probably what it is. I got a bit of deja vu then, because I remember yesterday talking about the fact that I've got the Hang Seng and other indexes, but I haven't got the Aussie one. Oh my God, this is like pulling teeth this morning, isn't it? It's not working. We're not going anywhere. FTSE's coming down nicely. Maybe if I sell the FTSE, I'm going to sell one in the FTSE. Just a single. Maybe that will make the DAX come down. You never know. In fact, I might sell another one under that low. Actually, I'm not going to do that. We'll see. So we are now 25 minutes directionless on the DAX. Gone nowhere. We tap straight back into the PIP, the pre-market 15-minute high. There's your pre-market 30 high. So that's your pre-market high basically holding up at the moment. There's no direction. There's no volume. Basically, this is just the initial cash balance going in. There's no speculative trading at all. I wonder if they're waiting around for CPI. It might be that they're waiting for CPI for some reason. We might be waiting for that figure at 10. I'll be surprised if we sit around for 2 hours waiting for that, but stranger things have happened. What we might find is happening in the stock markets today is that they are basically just all out of capital because it's all been revolved around the yen today. Might be just these yen movements have sucked the market dry, so to speak. New Zealand yen and pound yen ADRs. So everything, we've got full house on the yens now. But these, this movement that we've got here, look, I mean, it's just You know, we've had this sort of thing before, and that's what we're doing. We're just putting violent moves in constantly, but we're not going anywhere. Just because we've had a violent move doesn't mean that that won't be a violent move back down the other direction during the New York session. We were back to where we were yesterday. Just not doing anything, is it? Until we break that high, it's just a normal day. We'll be back down here and we'll have a violent big candlestick, but no direction. There you go. That worked. Whoops. So I sold the FTSE. So, of course, everything's rallying now. I told you it's going to be one of those days. I'm going to get hedged on the DAX. Just going to be a pulling teeth day today. Lee, you've been doing this since the dawn of time. What on earth happened to CJ in October 2011? I might not be able to go back that far. You mean Cadgen, yeah? October 2011. I can't see anything. What there? That's October. We had a big move. We had a big candle there. Is that the move you're talking about? That's October 2011. You mean the Swiss? No, nothing much happened there either. There was a big move on all yen pairs there, look. Hedged on the DAX. Hedged on the FTSE. Brilliant. I've just hedged myself on both of them now. Wasting money today. I can't really. There was a big candle there. I don't know. It's probably some kind of news, fundamental shift news that didn't happen or something. I don't know. You'd have to go back in history and have a look. Must be my broker. There's a 41,000 point move. Yeah, that's your broker. There was a big move. I mean, that candle on that day, which was the 31st of October, Halloween, today, Halloween, on that year, we had a 358 pip move off of a 68 ADR. So that was a big move. I don't know what it was, though. But, you know, you get big moves. You know, you get big days. They happen. You know, this is what the ADR indicator is telling you. You know, 2% of the year, we get beyond 225. If you look at the US dollar yen today, we're on for 225 ADR day today. 2% of the year, that happens. We do get beyond that 2% of the year. This is one of those days, maybe, that we're going to do a 300 ADR move. If we do a 300 ADR move, the Japanese will be wanting to do an intervention caused by their own hand. This is the bit that doesn't make sense. Why would you make yourself... It's like, you know, stabbing yourself in the arm and then wrapping a bandage around it. Why? What's the point? You know, just like cause yourself some pain to fix yourself. Doesn't make sense, does it? I don't understand why they've done this, but anyway. Nothing makes sense in the Forex market, as we know. DAX is out the highs. FTSE's still stuck in a range. Managed to lock myself into a lovely little loss on the FTSE. Sorry, I was just adjusting. Yeah, so DAX, we're out the highs. So upside today, we've got so much resistance coming up at these levels. That gap fill is complete on Friday. Yesterday was obviously an inside bar causing a downside gap. So breaking to the upside today, you've got to look at yesterday's high having some resistance and obviously Friday high. That's less than 3R though, so it's very difficult to get out at that level. If you get out at 3R, which is previous day's high, you've got a potential move up to ADR, which is absolutely vast. So that's a risky exit, but looking at the price action at the moment, we could well run out of steam there today, couldn't we? So that might be the best exit today at 3R. But I'm going to give the market time to just play out and see where it decides to go today. The FTSE's rallying as well. So we are buying stocks across sectors. All the US indices are moving as well. So this is a big purchase going in at the moment. So it could well get a little bit of a kick today to the upside. But watch this level. I think that's probably the most likely reaction. That was a big day. We're an inside bar. So if you look at this on a daily chart, we've got big daily candle, and then we've got an inside bar. So we're looking for an inside bar break. But what you will often find on an inside bar break is the candlestick looks something along those lines. Yeah, you get a wick to the upside, and that wick is a retest of the previous day's high. So I suspect that's probably what we'll get today. Got to get there yet, though. Italian bonds for sale. No, thank you. I got my full share of bonds at the moment. Money earmarked for there instead of the DAX. Doubt it. Don't know. I don't know today. It's one of those days today. The market is in one of those weird moods today where you just have to look at it and go, can't make its mind up. I can't be bothered. FTSE, are you on another prop? I am. I'm doing another prop evaluation. I've decided. It's only a 50K, so it's a small one. But I've decided to jump on an evaluation. Just dipping my toe back in the water, basically. But they don't allow EAs. But they do allow EAs, but only pre. This is the thing about this prop firm. They don't allow EAs, but they supply you with an EA to trade with, which is basically, it's a bit like the Price Action Toolkit. It's buttons that does lot size calculation and stuff for you. So I stuck it on my chart on the DAX this morning to have a look at it. And I said I want to risk 1% on a move of whatever the opening range was. It was 200 pips, 20 points. And it sold me to get in with 254 lots. 15 lots is 1% risk. It told me to get in with 254. So they don't allow you to use EAs unless they pre-condition them. You have to supply them and they go, yeah, okay, you can use it, or no, you can't use it, which is a faff, so I don't bother. And then basically they supply you with an EA, which calculates the lot size to be over, I don't know, 10, 15 times higher than it should be. Prop. Love them. Right, FTSE's out the highs, so is DAX. So we're off. See where we're going. Must be my broker. There's a 41K. Oh, yeah. That's with Alpha Capital. No real advantage or disadvantage to using anybody, really, I don't think, at the moment. They're all as bad as each other. So, yeah, I'm just going with one with Alpha. any prop firm that's basically got a drawdown based on daily levels, I'm happy with. The rest of the rules at the moment are just irrelevant. Doesn't really matter which one you use. I was going to do it with EA, which is my kind of preferred one. But I thought I'd have a go on these guys because they had an offer on. So got 25% off. So that's why I went with them instead of EA, because it's cheaper. It's all about money. At the end of the day, every proper valuation has a monetary value attached to it. They all do the same thing. They all work in the same way. So therefore, I'm going to go with the one that's going to give it to me for the cheapest. And they dropped something in my inbox which gave me 25% off. So I took it. It's marketing. Okay, FTSE's at highs. So the FTSE, I can switch time frames because I'm not using EAs. This is good. So FTSE basically, I'm just targeting yesterday's high to the upside. So a similar-ish type move to DAX going to the previous day's high. So watch this level on the DAX, basically, which is yesterday's high. That's what I'm doing on that one. I forgot I can change time frame now because I'm not using an EA. Oh, this is a revelation. Right, that's all I've got for you today. There's nothing else to look at. Market's in total disarray today at the minute because of what's happened with what's happened with the FTSE, the yen rather. So we've got a load of ADR hits. News-wise today, we've got the CAD GDP coming up later. And then market open is at 1:30. So we've got Chicago PMI coming 15 minutes after that, and then consumer confidence at 2. So there's a lot of news before and after the market open this afternoon. So it might be quite a hairy one on the US indices this afternoon as well. It's not a lot of earnings to worry about. So we've got news being drip fed to us throughout the day, but the market is going to be exhausted by this move. So you're going to find that I think most of the other currency pairs today, you're probably going to not really get a massive amount of movement on them unless there's a load of pre-market jostling before FOMC going on, which there is a possibility. We do quite often get big ADR days the day before FOMC as the market's repositioning itself ahead of the news. Sometimes even on FOMC day, it's very hit and miss. FOMC is either flatline or it's nuts before the event because it's just banks positioning themselves. Euro yen's just hit its weekly range, just flagged up. But again, don't pay too much attention to that. It's hit its weekly range because of what's gone on with the yen. That does not mean we're suddenly going to get a massive yen spike. We could do. Keep your eyes peeled on the news today, yeah? This is going to be annoying Ueda and Suzuki. Oh, here we go. As if by magic. I won't comment on current FX levels. Yeah. They're not going to have they're not going to stand this. This is not going to carry on this move. If they keep pushing it, it's important currencies move more stably, reflecting the fundamentals, etc., etc. You know, this is the usual stuff they say just before they press the button on that intervention. And it is Halloween. So maybe they're just trying to scare us. Who knows? But anyway, it's all about the yen today. So everything else, I think you can kind of just sit there and it's either just going to go sideways and not do an awful lot, or we might get some US dollar movement, basically. Bear in mind, obviously, when the liquidation happens, if they do just put in they might just put a small sell in, a small buy in, like this one, look. So they might just put a small one in like that. like a 175 ADR, that'll just bring it basically back down to where we were. But they might put one in like that. Bear in mind that is going to move the US dollar massively, because what they will be doing is selling the US dollar to buy the yen. So you'll find the US dollar will drop. Everything will rally against it. Euro US up, Aussie US up, pound US up, everything up against the US dollar. You'll probably find that will have a negative impact on oil pricing as well. So we'll see. But there's nothing we can do today. The market's just in ludicrous mode, isn't it? So that reminds me, I've got to go and shop for a new car because my lease is up on my car soon. So talking about ludicrous mode, Tesla. No, I'm not going to get Tesla. Right, I'll leave it there. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, I'll be back this afternoon at 1:20. 1:20, not 2:20. If you weren't here yesterday, clocks have changed. So 1:20 this week for the US session. We'll obviously look at the DAX and what happened with that. I'm going to monitor the DAX, but my plan is to probably try and exit at the previous day's high, which is Friday's high, which is there. So I'm going to watch price action. If we fly through that level and just do a little bit of this, probably not. If we hit that level and we see a nice rejection, I might well do the exit there and then try and get out again. But this market is really rallying now. FTSE's flying. All the US indices are flying. So, and bear in mind, obviously, all the stock markets are going to react to any yen intervention move. We're going to see a big move on the stocks as well. So you should get a Toyota Yaris. No. Bit of a downgrade. I'm not going to go from an iX3 to a Toyota Yaris. I was thinking maybe Nissan Leaf. Or maybe Nissan GTR. Toyota Yaris. I'm certainly not buying anything Japanese. Not happy with the Japanese at the moment. So they are off my car list. Unless it's a GTR, then I might do. Help out our friends in Japan, yeah. I'm not sure buying one car is going to help out our friends in Japan. I think they need a lot more help than that today. They're going to need some serious help and talking to. I'm looking at US 30. Sorry, I was trying to look at the DAX. When I zoomed out. We just pulled back from yesterday's high. We just had a load of limit orders triggering at the highs. Look. So battleground is drawn. There's your break. So we're looking for add there. And then re-break that high. And then next stop is Friday's high. So watch this price action. I think we'll blow through this level. I think we'll get through there. That's a big, strong move. FTSE's also reacting exactly the same, but there's no upside resistance on the FTSE. So market as a whole just stalling out a little bit up there, but the US indices not stopping. So DAX will get dragged with the US indices. It'll all go the same way. So I think we should break that high today. So Friday's high, target to the upside. I'm going to watch price action. I'm not setting a TP. I'm going to watch price action when we get there. All right, have a good morning. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I will be back this afternoon at 1:20 for the US session, or 7:50 tomorrow morning. Have a good day.